After the last run where I struggled with the nature monsters, I've decided to take a break before the hellish tree, that being the demon, undead, and material families. Instead, I will be focusing on the last family. In the game, the name simply is three question marks. So we could call it mystery, but I like to call it the boss family, as most final bosses from the Dragon Quest series are found in this specific family. Now, it goes without saying, this family cannot be accessed until chapter 3, and given most are S rank and above, I will need to make a few changes to the usual rules. But this challenge is primarily meant for fun and to see how accessible all of these monsters are. The rules are as follow. I unlock one monster slot per 2.5 chapters, with exception before I obtain my first party member. No duplicate monsters, only food items allowed into battle, no training dungeon, DLC chests, or online shop. As usual, I write my script as I go along on these challenges, so I have no idea if this is even realistic. Starting the run, I select Cruel Cumber as it is supposedly the hardest to obtain. From this point, there's not much different from a common playthrough. All you need to know is I collected as many monsters as I could and defeated the 3 Colosseum battles. Enjoy the mini compilation. Now, having access to Synthesis, I can finally begin the process of obtaining my party members. Also, because I have finished 2 chapters, I will have only one spot in my party once I have obtained my first party member. Now, before I skip to the Synthesis, I think it is important I show you how I do this entire process, given I have not access to the training dungeon. My best source of EXP are the vampire cats at the end of the Caverns of Conflagration. I fight an automated battle and repeat until all backrow members are level 10. As you will see at the end of the clip, I am nearly 13 hours into this grind, and I'm not even close to being done. Sometime later, around the 99 hours mark, I began fighting the Cyclops to speed up the leveling process. The very first boss I synthesized was Jasper Unbound, followed by Oregon, then Fluffy, and finally Crystalinda. These final 2, Fluffy and Crystalinda, were kept until the end to synthesize, even though they were the first one ready, because I needed to collect more monsters for the actual starter of this run, Fuzzy. Or at least this was my plan, but as you can see right now, this is Fuzzy at level 10, an S-rank monster that requires 300 monsters captured to obtain. Takes 4 entire turns to defeat 2 slimes. Now, I know I made this entire process look easy, but if you look, it took me 22 hours and 40 minutes, nearly an entire day, playing this game just to get this challenge started. And so you have a better idea of the skill, here are all the monsters I obtained in this run just to get that useless furball. At level 10, here are Crystalinda's stats. And for emphasis, I also added fuzzies to compare. I believe it goes without saying, Bernie is a one hit. I was surprised to see Raph surviving my first attack, but poor fool only lasted one more hit. And for the Molosseum, well, let's just say the fights went so fast, it might be worth me showing every fight. What? No, I'm not doing this just to look at Crystalinda's curves. Nonsense! Next are the 3 Mackay Hounds. Their fight lasted 2 attacks each, so here is Crystalinda being hot. Here are all 3 fights. With this, I have reached 5 chapters beaten, unlocking 1 more space. Also, yes, we are getting close to 24 hours, so if you do this challenge, remember how long it takes to get any members of this family. Now with Fuzzy in my party, because clearly Crystalinda rocks on her own, here is my party. The golem is next, and I feel bad for him. On one side, he is being destroyed by a beautiful woman, and the other, there's this fluff ball showing him his ass. Then is Percival. He understood the dangers of a fluffy ass and destroyed Fuzzy, then was destroyed by a lady. With this, we now have 7 chapters done for 3 spaces unlocked. The Diabolical was impressive overall, with a welcoming community destroyed in a single attack and Shane only managing to down Fuzzy, who has stats similar to a common slime. taking a moment to add Malroth to my roster, here are the current party members. And Darius, yeah, I don't think I need to tell you the fruit bat stopped flying. The three golfers were instantly obliterated, no questions asked. The King Custodian was another very easy fight. The only reason it was not the first turn was because Malroth is a sleepy boy. Then we shove a literal mountain up the Jafar wannabe's ass. We follow this up by reminding Petrarch who's boss. With this, we now have 10 chapters done, unlocking my 4th party slot. For now, I'll temporarily add Fuzzy back as a placeholder. Ash got his ass handed to him by a girl, her 2 plushies, and a very angry looking 4-armed lizard man. Little Twink went boom and died in the magic equivalent of a drying machine. And now with 12 chapters over, I now have 5 party slots open, allowing me to add Orgodemir, a being of such power he kicked Dragon Quest equivalent of Yahweh's ass. Matter respect, plus he's half snake. Here are the stats for my party after leveling Orgodemir a little. And finally, at the edge of entering the upper echelon, I finally faced my first ever loss, Orgodemir, though he was under level, so it was to be expected. say the succubus was spanked and tossed out? Only baby allowed in this tower, other than me, is Chrysalinda. Now, shove off and wait for the monster girl only run, you perverted bad girl. As expected, the three geckos were first turn. And the dumb chicken lasted 3 turns and even defeated Malroth, to my surprise. Next is Estarchisma, as usual, pushover, as long as you have basic healing and breath attack reflection. With this, we have 15 chapters beaten, meaning one more party member. And here is my nearly completed party, now with Zoma, the end boss of Dragon Quest III, in my party. Only one ally left and this party is complete. Barbatos could barely move his fat goat ass and did barely more than draining Orgodemir's MP before dying of a case of uselessness. Once I was done with Maximus, I threw his corpse out a window. I might be perpetually hungry, but he would likely give me diabetes from all the candies he ate. And then we froze a fat piece of shit Kruslas. We now have 17 chapters beaten. However, there are not enough chapters left to obtain the last 2 slots inside my party, so I will allow myself to get these last 2 slots right now. For over 7 hours, I've been opening bloody eggs all over to obtain this start, only to learn I needed to defeat the last fucking boss to obtain the final monster required for this synthesis. I'm currently so done with this. I will add Fuzzy back instead. This is my final party. Now enjoy seeing me massacre the rest of these idiots. Shut up, Ammon. Get stepped on by real mages. I turn all for shit and all into compost. At first I was going to call Zoma a dork for wasting all his MP turn 1. But then he punched Dolph to death, so I will retract that insult and call Dolph a dork for being a jock that gets bullied by the nerd. And finally, final boss versus final boss. Instead of explaining, I'll simply let you enjoy the massacre. This and the boss only challenge run. No, let's be honest. This is a run where you feel absolutely like you are a final boss going through the game on New Game Plus. These monsters are nearly all broken. The only challenge is the early game, where you spend nearly an entire day collecting monsters, raising them to level 10. At first, I had fun, but by the end, I will not lie, it was getting redundant. The monsters all take an eternity to obtain, especially at start. I was only one monster away, but like I shown earlier, it is impossible to get that monster before postgame, which I had considered doing, but not getting in Stark, and the amount of time it took me to realize it drained all my extra time and willpower I had to do it. With this, thank you very much for watching. The next episodes of Dragon Quest Monster Dark Prince will go back to the usual rules. I was simply curious how plausible, how doable this run was. So if you want to see these, remember to subscribe and click the bell icon so you do not miss the next episode.